Travis Hunter's world, the one fans thought was untouchable, has just been shaken to its very core. Cameras caught his wife in a moment that no one saw coming, tears streaming down her face, her voice breaking, her hands trembling as if the weight of every secret, every whispered rumor, and every bottled-up emotion finally exploded into the open. Fans are shocked, stunned, and desperately asking what could have pushed her to this breaking point. The scene was raw, unfiltered, and emotional, so intense that even those closest to the family couldn't hide their unease. Was this the fallout of months of behind-the-scenes arguments? Was there betrayal lurking in the shadows? Or is this the start of something even darker? Something that could tear apart the very image of strength they've built together. Sources close to the couple reveal the meltdown didn't happen in private. It unfolded in front of stunned onlookers, with whispers spreading faster than wildfire. As the tears fell, accusations flew, and the tension in the room became unbearable. What could have caused such a dramatic unraveling? And how deep does this drama go? Stick around, because what we uncovered is far more shocking than anyone ever imagined. The air around the Hunter household has never felt heavier. Whispers were already swirling after fans noticed Travis and his wife looking tense at a recent charity event. But no one expected what would unfold behind closed doors. It began on what should have been an ordinary evening, the kind filled with laughter, music, and casual chatter. Instead, it turned into a night of accusations, tears, and a family breaking down in front of those who once believed their bond was unshakable. Travis walked into the living room, his jaw tight, his phone still in his hand as if he had just read something he couldn't ignore. His wife was sitting on the couch, eyes red, tissues crumpled in her fist. The silence was so thick it nearly drowned out the faint hum of the television in the background. "Is it true?" Travis asked, his voice low but laced with something sharp. Something wounded. She shook her head quickly, almost desperately. "No, it's not what you think. Please, you have to believe me." But the more she tried to explain, the more his face hardened. Fans are shocked by this revelation. And those close to the couple said the argument wasn't just about rumors, it was about months of bottled-up frustrations, trust eroding slowly, and secrets that no one dared to speak out loud. The first explosion came when Travis slammed his phone on the table. "I can't keep defending you when the whole world sees the signs. But even our friends are starting to question us." She covered her face with her hands, her body shaking. "Why are you listening to them? Why aren't you listening to me? I'm your wife, Travis. Doesn't that mean something anymore?" The tension didn't just end with the two of them. Their closest family members, who had been in the house for what was supposed to be a quiet dinner, were pulled into the storm. His mother, usually calm and collected, stepped forward, her voice breaking as she tried to intervene. "Both of you, please," she pleaded. "Don't do this in front of everyone. This is not how you handle love. This is not how you protect your family." But Travis turned to her sharply, his voice edged with frustration. "Mom, you don't know everything. You don't know what's been going on." Friends who were there described the moment as unbearable. Emotions ran high, the atmosphere thick with betrayal and confusion. One guest even claimed they had never seen Travis raise his voice this way. Not on the field, not in interviews, but only here, at home, when the truth threatened to come out. As the argument escalated, his wife suddenly stood, her eyes glistening with tears, her voice rising above the chaos. "Do you want the truth, Travis? Fine. The truth is, I've been scared. Scared of losing you, scared of living under constant scrutiny, scared that no matter what I do, there'll never be enough." The room fell silent for a brief, fleeting second. Everyone stared at her, breath caught in their throats. But then Travis whispered something that shattered whatever calm remained. "Maybe it's not enough." The words landed like a punch to the chest. She gasped, covering her mouth as tears spilled uncontrollably. Fans are left divided by this scene. Was Travis too harsh? Or was he finally speaking a truth he had been holding inside for far too long? As his wife collapsed back onto the couch, sobbing, his sister rushed to her side, pulling her into an embrace. "Don't say that," his sister snapped at Travis, her tone fierce. You don't get to say that when she's given up everything for you. This sparked yet another round of conflict. Accusations flew, voices overlapped, and the family, once a picture of unity, seemed completely shattered. His father tried to step in, his booming voice demanding order. Enough. You're tearing each other apart, and for what? For rumors, for pride. You're going to destroy everything you've built. But the words did little to soothe the fire. Instead, it seemed to fuel it, with old wounds being dragged back into the light. Stories of past betrayals, forgotten promises, and unresolved fights resurfaced one after another. Travis's wife cried out, her words raw with pain. I stood by you when no one else did, Travis. I gave up my life, my dreams, to support you. And now, because of some whispers, you think I've betrayed you? Do you have any idea what that feels like? Her vulnerability hung heavy in the air, and even Travis's eyes seemed to soften for a brief moment. But before any reconciliation could begin, a friend in the corner muttered under their breath, "This has been coming for a long time." Everyone turned to look, shocked by the audacity of the statement. His wife's head snapped up, her tears momentarily forgotten. "What do you mean by that?" she demanded, her voice trembling but fear-staunch. The friend hesitated but finally spoke. "People have been talking about late-night calls, about arguments behind closed doors, about things that didn't add up." Gasps filled the room. His wife's face crumpled, devastated. "So it's not just rumors anymore, it's everyone waiting for us to fall apart." The family was left divided. Some believed her, insisting that love requires trust, while others couldn't ignore the mountain of whispers that had been piling up for months. Fans watching from afar have described this as one of the most dramatic meltdowns in recent memory. One moment it seemed like reconciliation was possible, and the next, the walls came crashing down all over again. The night dragged on, voices rising and falling like waves crashing against a cliff. There were moments of silence so loud it hurt, followed by sudden outbursts that startled even the bravest hearts in the room. At one point, his wife stood and stormed toward the door, her sobs echoing. But Travis grabbed her hand, pulling her back, his face etched with desperation. "Don't walk away from me. Not like this. Not tonight." She looked at him, eyes wide with shock. "Then give me a reason to stay. Just one. Tell me you believe me and I'll stay." But Travis couldn't speak. The words seemed stuck in his throat, choked by pride, anger, and confusion. She pulled her hand free, sinking back onto the couch as if every ounce of energy had drained from her body. "Then maybe this is the end," she whispered, and just like that, the night shifted from fiery arguments to a cold, painful silence. No one dared to move, no one dared to breathe. It was as if the entire house had turned into a battlefield littered with broken promises and shattered trust. But what came next would take the drama to an even higher level. Because just as they thought the storm might pass, a new secret surfaced, one that would threaten to destroy everything left standing. The room stayed frozen, the silence so sharp it cut through every heart present. Travis sat hunched forward, elbows on his knees, his head hanging low. His wife, barely able to hold herself upright, clutched at her chest as if the weight of his silence was pressing the air out of her lungs. Everyone thought the night couldn't get any worse. But that was before the phone rang. The shrill sound startled everyone, breaking the tense quiet. His wife reached for it instinctively, but Travis grabbed it first, glancing at the screen. His expression changed instantly, shock, disbelief, and then something darker. "Who is this?" he demanded, holding the phone up for everyone to see. His wife's face drained of all color. She reached for the phone, panic flashing in her eyes. "Please, just give it to me. It's not what you think." But Travis stood, his voice rising with fury. "Not what I think. It's a man's name. Calling this late at night, and you're telling me not to think anything of it?" Fans are stunned by this twist because, according to sources, the call was from someone tied to both their pasts, a name that had already caused drama once before. She stood shakily, tears spilling down her face. "It's not like that, Travis. He's just a friend, someone I've known for years. I didn't want you to misunderstand. That's why I never told you." But her explanation only seemed to fan the flames. "Never told me." Travis snapped, his eyes blazing. "You kept it from me, and you expect me to believe nothing's going on?" His sister leaped into the argument again, raising her hands in frustration. "Travis, stop. You don't know the whole story, and you're tearing her apart in front of all of us." His father shook his head gravely. "No, let him speak. This has been building. And maybe tonight is when it all finally comes out." The atmosphere was unbearable, thick, with accusation and pain. She clutched the back of the couch for support, her voice breaking. "Do you want to know why I didn't tell you? Because you've stopped listening to me? You only hear the rumors, the whispers, the lies. I didn't tell you because I knew you'd turn it into this. I was trying to protect us, not destroy us." But Travis wasn't ready to back down. He held the phone high, as if it were evidence of her betrayal. "Then answer me this. Why does he feel so comfortable calling you this late? Why does his name come up in conversations when I'm not around? Do you know what people are saying about us? About you?" Her sobs grew louder, her words spilling out uncontrollably. "Because he's the only one I could talk to when I felt alone. You were gone, Travis. Physically here sometimes, but gone. I needed someone, and you weren't there." The confession hit him like a blow. Fans are divided. Some say her honesty was brave, while others claim it was proof of betrayal. His mother, tears streaming down her face, stepped forward, trying to bridge the divide. "Both of you are hurting. Both of you feel abandoned. But tearing each other down like this, it's only going to end in pieces." Yet before any reconciliation could take root, the phone buzzed again. The same name. The room erupted into chaos. His wife snatched the phone this time, her voice shaking as she answered. "Stop calling me. Please stop." But on speaker, a man's voice filled the room. "You don't have to keep lying to him anymore. He already knows the truth." Gasps echoed all around. Travis's face went pale. His fists clenched so tightly his knuckles turned white. "What truth?" he demanded, his voice trembling with rage. She shook her head furiously, panicked. "Don't listen to him, Travis. He's trying to ruin us. This is exactly why I didn't want you to know. He twists things. He makes them sound worse than they are." The man's voice on the other end laughed bitterly. "Oh, she didn't tell you. About the nights she called me crying, saying she couldn't take it anymore. About the time she said she wasn't sure your marriage would survive." The revelation shattered what little trust remained. She tried to explain, her words tumbling over one another. "I said those things because I was hurt, not because I stopped loving you. I never betrayed you, Travis, never." But the damage was done. The family was split, friends whispering in corners, some glaring at her, others glaring at him. The drama had reached a point where every word, every glance, carried unbearable weight. Travis stormed across the room, knocking a chair aside, his anger barely contained. "You let me look like a fool in front of everyone. You poured your heart out to him instead of me. How am I supposed to believe in us after this?" His wife collapsed into sobs again, her voice ragged. "Because I still choose you. I always choose you. I just didn't know how to reach you anymore." Fans described this moment as the most heartbreaking of all two people, clearly still in love, but trapped by pride, hurt, and too many voices weighing in on their marriage. Then another twist came from the least expected person. His sister spoke up again, her tone hesitant. "There's something you don't know, Travis. Something she told me months ago." Everyone turned toward her. Stunned, his wife shook her head violently, whispering, "Don't, please don't." But his sister pressed on. "She told me she thought she was pregnant. She was terrified because she didn't know if you were ready for that. And when the test came back negative, she never said a word. She's been carrying that weight alone." The revelation silenced the room. His wife buried her face in her hands, sobbing harder than ever, her body shaking with the release of secrets she never wanted exposed. Travis froze, fury colliding with shock and something else, guilt. "Is that true?" he asked quietly, almost afraid of the answer. She nodded weakly, her voice muffled through her tears. I didn't want to add more pressure on you. You already had so much on your shoulders. I thought if I just kept it to myself, it would be easier. But it wasn't. It ate me alive. The confession shifted the atmosphere once more. Fans are now questioning everything. Was she truly unfaithful, or was she simply lost in fear, loneliness, and secrecy? Travis ran his hand over his face, torn between anger and compassion. The entire family waited, breathless, for what he would say, but instead of offering comfort or condemnation, he whispered, "We're living in a house built on secrets, and I don't know if it can stand anymore." The room fell into another suffocating silence. His wife sobbed harder. His family exchanged worried glances, and friends who had once admired their relationship now saw only cracks. Yet, just when it seemed like the night had hit rock bottom, another voice spoke up. A friend who had been quiet until now leaned forward, their words chilling the room. "You think this is the worst of it? You haven't even heard everything yet." And with that, the already fragile night was about to explode into something even darker, even more unthinkable. Even more unthinkable. All eyes turned toward the friend, their sudden statements slicing through the thick silence like a blade. His wife, already trembling from everything that had been revealed, looked up with wide, tear-filled eyes. Travis stiffened, his fists clenching, as if bracing for yet another blow he wasn't sure he could survive. "What do you mean?" Travis demanded, his voice hoarse from shouting and breaking. The friend hesitated, glancing nervously between the couple and the stunned family members scattered around the room. "I didn't want to say anything. Not like this. But after what just happened, you need to know." "Travis, she hasn't only been talking to him. There's more." Gasps rippled through the room. His wife jumped to her feet, shaking her head furiously. "Stop. You don't know what you're talking about. You're twisting things." But the friend pressed on, their voice steady despite the chaos. "I saw her. I saw her meeting someone when she said she was visiting family. I didn't want to believe it, but after tonight, I can't keep quiet." The room erupted. His mother covered her mouth in shock. His father muttered a curse under his breath, and his sister clutched his wife's arm in disbelief. Travis's face turned ashen, his voice barely more than a whisper. "Is it true? Tell me now. Did you meet someone?" His wife's knees buckled as if the weight of his words had knocked the strength out of her. She collapsed back onto the couch, sobbing uncontrollably. "It wasn't what it looked like. I swear to you, Travis, I swear. Yes, I met someone, but it wasn't like that. I needed advice. I needed someone who wasn't in this world of cameras and pressure and expectations. I didn't cheat on you." Fans are shocked, unable to believe how fast the story has spiraled into a storm of betrayal and confusion. Some are defending her vulnerability. Others believe the friend's revelation confirms the worst. Travis's voice cracked as he shouted, "Do you have any idea what you've done to me? To us, how do you expect me to look at you and believe a single word?" Her sobs deepened, her hands clutching her chest as she tried to form words through the heartbreak. "Because I love you. Because every choice I made, even the wrong ones, came from being lost, not from wanting to hurt you. I've never stopped loving you." The room was split in half. His sister defended her fiercely. "Travis, can't you see she's broken? She's fighting for you right now, even when everyone's against her. Doesn't that mean something?" But his father wasn't convinced. Love isn't enough when lies take root. Once trust is broken, it never comes back whole. His wife turned desperately toward Travis, ignoring everyone else. "Please, look at me. Don't look at them. Don't listen to them. Listen to me. I didn't betray you. I was scared. I was drowning. I didn't know how to reach you anymore." Travis stared at her, his eyes filled with a storm of emotions, hurt, anger, love, confusion. "Then why didn't you come to me? Why did you go to everyone else but me?" Her voice cracked into a scream. "Because you stopped hearing me. Every time I tried to open up, you brushed me off, told me to be strong, told me not to break down. I wasn't allowed to be weak around you. So I found someone else who let me be weak." The confession stunned him. Fans are calling this one of the rawest and most heartbreaking moments yet. A brutal clash between love and pride. Vulnerability and strength. The friend who revealed the meeting tried to defend themselves, saying, "I wasn't trying to hurt you. I thought you deserved to know. But now, seeing this, maybe I made things worse." His wife turned on them, her grief morphing into rage. "You think you're helping? You've ruined everything. You had no right to throw half-truths into the fire. You don't know what that meeting meant. You don't know how desperate I was." Her words echoed through the room, her tears now mixed with fury. And then, in a shocking twist, she revealed something that left even Travis speechless. "That man I met, he's a therapist. I didn't want anyone to know I was seeing one because I didn't want to seem weak. I didn't want you, Travis, to think I couldn't handle our life. So yes, I lied about where I was. But I did it because I was trying to save myself, and maybe even us." The revelation dropped like a bomb. The family froze. The friend's mouth fell open. Fans everywhere gasped twaffs. Senkel quotes as face softened slightly, but his voice was still raw. "A therapist. Why didn't you just tell me? Why hide it?" She whispered through her tears, "Because I thought you'd think less of me. Because I thought you'd see me as a burden. You carry so much on your shoulders, Travis. I didn't want to add my pain to yours." His sister wiped her eyes, nodding. "This makes sense. This explains everything. She wasn't betraying you, Travis. She was breaking." And she didn't know how to ask for help, but his father shook his head gravely. "Secrets are still secrets. No matter the reason, they corrode trust. And look at where it's left you now." The room was divided once again, but something had shifted. Travis's anger was no longer burning as fiercely it had dimmed, replaced with confusion and sorrow. He sat beside his wife, though still at a distance, staring at her as if seeing her for the first time. "You should have trusted me enough to tell me," he said, quietly. "I would have rather known your pain than watched you suffer in silence." She reached for his hand, trembling. "Then let me show you now. Let me prove to you that I can still be the wife you believe in. Please don't let this be the end." For the first time that night, Travis didn't pull away. But before anyone could breathe a sigh of relief, his phone buzzed once again. The same man's name appeared on the screen. This time, Travis answered. His voice was cold, controlled, but deadly sharp. "If you have something to say it to me directly." The man chuckled darkly on the other end. "Oh, I will. Because what she hasn't told you yet, Travis, is bigger than therapy. There's more she's been keeping from you." The word sent chills through the room. His wife's face went pale, her hands clutching the edge of the couch, her lips parting as if she wanted to stop the man from speaking. "Don't," she begged into the phone. "Please, don't do this." But it was too late. The man's voice rang clear. "She didn't tell you about the night she almost left you. Bags packed, car running, ready to walk away. And if I hadn't talked her down, she wouldn't even be sitting there right now." The revelation shattered the fragile progress they'd made. Fans are in complete shock, unable to process the avalanche of secrets crashing down on this couple. Travis's face twisted in anguish, his voice breaking as he turned to his wife. "Is it true? Were you going to leave me?" Her body shook violently, tears streaming down her cheeks as she whispered, "Yes, but I stayed. I stayed because I love you. I stayed because I couldn't imagine a life without you. I was scared. I was lost. But in the end, I chose you. Doesn't that matter?" The room erupted into chaos once more. Accusations, tears, anger, and heartbreak collided into a storm of emotions that no one could control. And just when it seemed like the night couldn't get any darker, Travis rose to his feet, his voice trembling with finality. "If you ever loved me, you'll tell me everything. Every secret. Every lie. Right now. Because if I have to hear one more truth from someone else, we're finished. Truth from someone else, we're finished." His wife looked up at him, broken, desperate, knowing the next words she spoke could either save their marriage or end it. Forever, the room felt like it was holding its breath. Everyone's eyes were locked on her, waiting, bracing for whatever she would say. Travis stood over her, his voice still ringing in the air, demanding the truth. All of it. No more secrets. His wife wiped her trembling hands across her face. her eyes swollen from hours of crying, her voice barely more than a whisper. You want everything? Fine, I'll give you everything. But I don't know if you'll still look at me the same after this. Travis's jaw clenched. Just say it. She inhaled shakily, her voice cracking as she began. The night I almost left. It wasn't just about me being scared. It was because I found out something that broke me inside. Something I couldn't tell you because I didn't want to hurt you. The room tensed. His sister leaned forward, whispering, "What is it? Just say it." She gripped the edge of the couch so tightly her knuckles turned white. I found messages. Messages that weren't meant for me. I saw the way women were talking to you, Travis, and I couldn't stop thinking, what if they weren't just messages? What if you gave them pieces of you that belonged to me? Gasps echoed through the house. Travis's eyes widened, his shock so raw it silenced even the loudest voices. You think I cheated on you? He asked, his voice trembling between rage and heartbreak. She nodded weakly, her tears returning. I didn't know what to believe. I wanted to trust you, but the doubt it ate at me until I couldn't breathe. That's why I called him. That's why I saw the therapist. That's why I almost left. I wasn't running from you. I was running from the fear that I already lost you. Fans are completely divided. Some say her revelation explains everything. Others argue she used suspicion as a weapon to justify her own secrets. Travis's face hardened, but his voice softened, filled with a wounded vulnerability no one had ever heard from him before. If you thought that about me, why didn't you just ask? Why didn't you trust me enough to come to me? Her voice broke. Because I was terrified the answer would be yes, and I couldn't survive hearing it from your mouth. His mother stepped forward, her tears streaming, her voice trembling with desperation. Both of you are drowning in fear and pride. You've built walls so high you can't even see each other anymore. You need to tear them down or you'll lose everything. But before those words could sink in, the friend who had stirred the chaos earlier muttered under their breath, maybe losing everything is exactly what they need. The room erupted again. Travis spun toward them, fury exploding from every pore. Get out, he roared. You've said enough, caused enough damage. You're not family. You don't belong in this. The friend stormed out, slamming the door, leaving behind a wave of tension that rattled through every wall. Travis turned back to his wife, his eyes filled with conflict. So that's it. You almost left me because of fears, because of doubts, because of whispers. And I'm supposed to just forget it all? She stood shakily, her body trembling, her voice rising with one last burst of strength. No, you're not supposed to forget it. You're supposed to fight for us. Because I'm standing here in front of everyone, laying myself bare, risking everything, because I still believe in us. I don't care what people say. I don't care what they whisper. I don't care how broken I look. I want you, Travis. I want us. And if you walk away, then I'll know I was right to be afraid all along. The rawness of her plea left everyone in stunned silence. Fans are calling this one of the most dramatic declarations of love ever. A moment so painful yet powerful that it feels ripped from the script of a reality drama. Travis's single quotes as hands shook. He ran them over his face, trying to steady himself. For what felt like forever, he didn't speak. His wife stood there, exposed, waiting, bracing for either redemption or devastation. Finally, he spoke, his voice heavy with exhaustion and emotion. You broke me tonight. I've never felt so betrayed, so humiliated, so lost. But at the same time, I can't imagine my life without you. I don't know if I can forgive you right now. I don't know if we'll ever get back to what we were. But I know one thing, I'm not ready to let you go. The room exhaled collectively, the weight of his words crashing down. His wife collapsed into sobs of relief, clutching his hands as if they were the only lifeline she had left. His sister wiped her tears, whispering, then maybe this isn't the end. Maybe it's the beginning of something stronger. His father, still skeptical, muttered, stronger only if you both learn. Secrets can't live in love. Lies can't grow roots in trust. You either rebuild honestly or you let it all rot. The night ended not with resolution, but with fragile hope. The couple sat side by side, exhausted and broken, yet holding on to the faint thread that kept them bound. The family, though divided, knew this wasn't over. Friends whispered among themselves, fans speculated wildly online. And the world waited for the next chapter of a love story that had become a public battlefield. And as dawn crept in, painting the sky with pale shades of forgiveness and regret, one thing was certain: the Hunter household would never be the same again. But whether it would rise from the ashes or crumble completely, that was a question only time could answer. What night of pure chaos, heartbreak, and shocking revelations. From the moment Travis's wife broke down crying to the avalanche of secrets that followed, fans have been left stunned, divided, and desperate for answers. Was she guilty of betrayal, or was she simply a woman drowning in fear and loneliness? Did Travis's pride and silence push her away, or were the whispers and late-night calls the final cracks in their foundation? Emotions ran high, accusations flew like daggers. And even family and friends couldn't escape the storm. But the truth is, this story doesn't end here. The wounds are deep, the trust is fragile, and the future of their marriage hangs by the thinnest of threads. Will Travis and his wife fight to rebuild? Or will one more secret, one more rumor push them over the edge? Fans everywhere are waiting to see what comes next. Because this drama has proven one thing behind the perfect smiles and public image: even the strongest couples can shatter under the weight of hidden pain. Now we want to hear from you. Do you think Travis should forgive her? Or are the secrets just too much to overcome? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We're watching to see where you stand. And if you've been hooked by every twist, every tear, and every jaw-dropping revelation, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe for more explosive updates, and turn on notifications so you never miss a moment of the drama. This story is far from over, and trust me, you don't want to miss what happens next. Don't want to miss what happens next.